We just hiked through the brush there to get to the site. On the map, it's marked that there's a mine and a structure here. Don't know anything about the mine, even whether it's surface or underground or what have you. This is clearly the structure. Looks like they had some sort of platform here. Don't know if that's a deck or, you know, the cabin up on stilts or what have you, but from all appearances, it was a bunkhouse. I'm seeing some living type stuff. Yeah, you got the old sardine can right there, and whatever that jar is. Boot right there. I mean, that's not too old. That boot's not too old. Obviously, people, once they know about a site like this, they keep coming out. The cabin is obviously fairly old. There's some more stuff up here. Got corrugated metal right there. It's because somebody's been out here metal detecting or something. And then you got modern plastic right there. So people have made the hike out here, but this site is obviously older. And then, don't know if this was a separate structure or just part of that same structure. Either way, we'll look around, see if we can find that mine or anything else interesting. Looking around the site some more, I realized there was a stack of sodden, compacted magazines here.
1984, $2.50, whatever it is.
Okay. That almost looks... That chick looks creepy. I don't know if it's... I don't know if she actually is or it's just the rot making her face all distorted, but...
But the lettering is facing this way. Here. I think these might be two... Yeah, these are... You can feel
they're two fused together, huh?
Yeah,
yeah.
If you look, this whole thing is just pages compacted.
And you saw a 1982...
Over here, 1982.
1982 over there.
Everything else screams a lot older, but that could have been someone coming in years later to...
Yeah, that's what I was just
after the fact.
Yeah, I was just speculating about that on the camera. What is that?
Cologne.
Cologne?
Concentrate cologne spray.
What are these miners getting up to?
Nothing left. Still kind of smell it.
Wow. I don't know. I gotta wonder about miners that are wearing cologne out at the mine.
This cabin is newer because the one on the map was 1960 or earlier. This looks like it's like built into the foundation, and this is a cheaper material, plywood and particle board.
Maybe this was just like a shed or outbuilding or something.
That one's an older. That's probably the original one on the map, and this might be something they cobbled together years later.
Yeah, or like I said, just like a little tool shed or storage shed or something. All right, let's go find that mine. That cabin we were just checking out is up there, and looking around some more and saw this stuff in this creek, including this box. So came over to take a closer look at it, thinking it was some old piece of mining equipment. And it wasn't until I got around the front I realized it was a very, very old television. It's an RCA Victor, as you can see. And I don't know my televisions that well, but that's old. And the story of how it ended up here, of all places, because there was a hike to get in here. You see how thick the brush is a story I would love to hear. That cabin we were checking out is on that flat area there. And we came down into the creek because we saw a lot of sign of disturbed earth, that sort of thing. And look what we have here. We have an old trash dump of mixed vintage. There's some stuff here, this 1980s, And some of this stretches all the way back to probably the 1930s or so. Gets better though, because look at this. Probably one of the last things that we expected to find here, but lo and behold, here it is. 99 times out of 100, this would be caved. And I think, actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think the only reason this is open is because of this tree right next to it that has its roots sort of keeping the portal open. Because if you look at how much dirt is around here, almost always mines like this are eroded shut. So, obviously, we're going to have to go check that out. But that's not all. There's more here. There's more stuff around. Just anything noteworthy in the trash, I should point out?
This looks like a ceramic barrel, and I swear I've seen that logo before.
This would be of the 1930s rather than 1980s vintage, I'm assuming. Yeah, that logo looks familiar. Hopefully, I'm sure some of the audience will know something about that.
And glazed.
Yeah, that's obviously older. You know, the bottle hunters love to pick over sites like this, so normally you see a bunch of smashed and broken bottles, and here they're all intact.
The site's not ripe enough yet. 20, 40 more years. This will be valuable to someone.
True.
Not quite yet, though.
True.
But it'll be a great find.
It will indeed. This is old too. This is, let's see. Can you read what that says on top? It's hard to film it. It's an old one, I can tell.
16 to 1.
Huh.
No idea.
Cool.
This is a deep pile.
Oh, wow. You're down in the older trash
you just
now.
Pull up anything and it just goes.
Interesting. There's a lot of stuff here.
Speaker. This might have been a radio.
There's some interesting trash out here.
You got knobs.
Yeah, I see it. Layers of buried.
It's like an archaeological dig.
Wow, so they're just throwing all the trash into the mine.
I go in face first, but then I need you to pull my ankle to get me out.
Yeah.
I'll get all nasty.
No, you're doing what I would do. And will do if it's good. Was I right about the tree holding up the portal?
Yeah, but it's all pretty solid rock.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Was it caved?
No, it's good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a challenge. Give me a second.
Sure. In case you didn't hear what he said it's actually open and goes, so he's going to recon that, and we'll see if we need to go in there. I am completely unprepared for this, other than having a flashlight. That's about it. I've got out hiking in the woods type clothing on now, not mine exploring type clothes, because I did not expect to find this at all. What are we working with?
Can you take my phone?
Yeah.
And keep it recording me coming out. Yeah. Alright. This thing floods. There's feet of dried up mud. And a lot of trash, a lot of bottles that got left on the ribs.
Really? Just from floating in there?
So I'll be like pile of bottles here.
Huh.
And I think it collapsed because they hit dirt. There's roots that's so close to the surface. There's roots everywhere.
Gotcha.
There's boots down there. A lot of trash. It's definitely worth going in though, so have fun.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
All right. That's where I dropped in from just now. And you can see all the trash that's fallen down here over the years, or been tossed down here more accurately. And the mine extends in front of me that way. You can see all the roots hanging down. I'm going to, this is only like 2 or 3 feet high, unfortunately. I'm going to make my way down there and resume filming. I was up there a minute ago, and I've crawled down here, and I have to say this is really miserable, given how filled in with mud this is. Fortunately, the mud's dry, which is a saving grace. What's interesting is, judging from the height of the attic, this dried mud is probably 3 feet or so thick, so I can only imagine what's hidden down in the mud. The attic keeps running back this way. Oh man, this is tough. I don't know what that growth on the ground is. An old boot right there. Keeps going back this way. It was pretty sketchy, I gotta say, with all the dirt. We're really close to the surface. You can see all the roots coming down. It looks like it's caved back there. Let's go look. Just crawled through there. You can see what I've been crawling through. You can see how much stuff is on the ground here. And it's all caved in from there, which, by my reckoning, this runs pretty much right underneath that cabin. So there's a little bit of water down there. I'll go up and take another look at that area, see if we can figure out where this caved from. All right, get out of here and see what else might be around. So far, this is wildly exceeded expectations. There's a little attic I just crawled out of, and while I was in there, my buddy was digging through the trash some more, and you can see he dug down a few decades and has gotten into the older stuff. So there have been people coming out here for a while. Can of apple juice, that's pretty cool. And then, oh, he pulled out a bunch of intact jars and such over here.
This is all relatively modern. What's interesting is the other trash pile down the road, which has the 1930s, and then on top of that, a lot more 1980s. So what's with this pile then?
Convenience. They're just tossing it off the edge from up there, I guess. The cabin is up there where my buddy's walking. That little attic is just below that. And in this creek running down next to the operation, we have this pipe running all the way down. It's not small. Might be hard to tell in this video, but it's probably a foot across. It's got very large Victolic fittings, or Vic fittings as miners often call them. And it's running all the way down this creek. It originated at a pond that we passed on the way in. That in and of itself didn't seem worth filming at the time, but now I'm seeing all this. It's starting to make sense. That runs down, and the end of the pipe is right there, and it leads into this catch basin here, for lack of better description. Looking at it from above, it seems like that basin down there was carved out, and so we're kind of wondering, was this an illegal hydraulic mining operation back in the 1930s? Was that just for doing some washing, you know, like some kind of sluice or something down here, that they were bringing in material from elsewhere? You can see all the cut marks and things like that here. We're not sure. Maybe all of the above. We're looking around some more, and we have this old pipe running down along the creek here with those Victolic fittings. And look at that rock wall they made to support that. And it's probably hard to get perspective on this. That rock wall is probably 4 feet high, running all along here and up a ways through there. I'll try and get down and get a better view of it. Again, here's a closer look at that rock wall. which runs all along this waterway. I'm not sure why they short up the sides of the waterway. Curious about this one. The pipe has an interesting spiral pattern, and then the Victaulic fittings, well, they're farther down there. Upstream a little bit, and you can see the rock walls extend all the way up here. Again, all about 4 or 5 feet high, extending all the way up the wash. It's kind of hard to tell in some sections because they're covered with leaves and such, but they're extending all the way up this wash. It's a lot of work. Over here, I noticed this cable wrapped around this cedar tree. With that spike driven in as well. And then I see a tire. And it looks like some other junk in there. I don't think there's anything to that, but let's just see what it is real quickly. Ah, old television. That is an old television. Tires are pretty old too. Interesting. You see some interesting things out in the woods. Looks like a dredging bucket on the end of this one. It's definitely been here a minute. Oh, there's another engine back there too. Sure, somebody can make sense of that. Looks like Nevada County, California. I wonder if it's a piece of surplus equipment or something. Did you see the Nevada County, California?
I thought it was Alameda County.
Oh, was it Alameda? I didn't take a close look at it. Caterpillar. Well, I don't know what this is doing here, but it's interesting. Okay. I stand corrected. Alameda.